Just a few months ago, Amazon released the Amazon Echo Show 8, and the question I want to answer for you today is, which one of these smart displays are you buying, and where does it go in your smart home? Hello Automators, thanks for tuning in again. I'm Brian from Automate Your Life, and today I'm going to take the frustration out of automation by helping you make a choice with the Amazon Echo Show series of products. Now, this can be a confusing decision, and so I wanted to help you place the Amazon Echo Show within your home. So while we'll do a comparative review here between the devices, towards the end, I'll talk about where I see each of these devices actually fitting inside your home. Let's start the comparison review with a breakdown of the specifications. Now, likely the most often thing that you will do with any smart speaker or smart display in your home will be to actually play music, play radio, play podcasts, really consume content from an audio standpoint. And so the speaker is one of the most important things out there. And when we talk about the speakers on these three devices, what you're going to find is the Amazon Echo Show 5 is a relatively underpowered speaker. This is a massive increase for the price differential up to the Amazon Echo Show 8, and there's still an increase here all the way to this Amazon Echo Show 2nd generation, but it is not that big of a difference between these two. They actually carry very similar speaker systems. The one difference that you will find here is that this is supposed to have Dolby audio capability. Now, honestly, with speakers of this size, do you care? I don't. I can't really tell the difference. This has been a great speaker for me and is my overall preferred, but if I have to pick one of these in terms of a bang for the buck, this is clearly where I'm going with the $100 differential between these two. We should talk about the difference in prices right there, because there is a massive difference. This is $230 US, $130 US, and a $90 US device. Now, they all go on sale for different levels, so we're not really going to talk about that, but this often gets down to the price of an Echo Show 5, and that's why I say bang for the buck, and you'll hear me say this a few times with this device. Bang for the buck, this is a really great option. The next thing to talk about is the actual screen capabilities here. Now, this is a 5.5 inch display, an 8 inch display, and a 10.1 inch display, but they all come with different resolutions. And again, you're going to hear a very similar set of things being said. 960 by 480, small resolution, not HD. We go up here to 1280 by 800, and we kind of keep the same pixels per inch between the two. It's very close between these two. So you have really great resolution on a bigger form factor here in what is HD. Now you move up here and actually it's the same resolution as the Echo Show 8. So you gain those 2 inches diagonally, but you end up with the same resolution, and so your pixels per inch drop considerably on this. And so not in a lot of cases you're not going to notice this, but sometimes I have noticed the sharpness not being there on this device, and I think that's one of the reasons we'll see this get updated in late 2020. We're going to flip that on its head, and I'm going to talk about a ton of new products that work with Amazon's voice assistant, as well as a number of new features for you. Thanks for tuning in again. I'm Brian from Automate Your Life, and today I'm going to take the frustration out of automation by keeping you up to date with Amazon's voice assistant and their entire suite of smart home products. It's a hard thing to keep track. All of them carry relatively shiny displays, and I think that's really important to think about. That's actually one of the reasons I have this mount here, and I have mounts like that for these two devices, and I'll leave links down below because they are very good mounts in terms of how they structure, number number one, the sound and the look and feel, and they give you the ability to tilt and move that display so you're not catching reflections off of lots of things. Now, we are an in-depth smart home channel, so we do have to talk about the difference between the smart home control capability. Between these two, the 5 and the 8, there is absolutely no difference, and 99% of what you're going to look at, there's no difference even over here on the Echo Show 2nd generation. But what this does contain is a Zigbee hub, and that means you can connect to a few devices. So they're Zigbee protocol devices, and you'll find a few sensor types like contact sensors and motion sensors. So those are mostly for doors and for seeing that people are moving around. And then you will be able to connect to some action devices like smart plugs and smart bulbs and smart switches to be able to turn on and off devices using just that Zigbee hub here and Amazon's application to control all of that. So you get a little bit of extra, but I would say in general, what I'm going to tell you is either of these are totally fine. If you're looking for smart home control, again, 99% of what's out on the market sits over here, and I would rather have you take the $100 between these two and go buy a smart home hub that is fully capable, because Amazon is not yet a fully capable smart home hub. They have great connectivity to just hundreds of thousands of devices, and that's amazing, don't get me wrong, but they do not have the full smart home capabilities that you will find on something like Samsung SmartThings. There is a significant difference when you compare the cameras on these three devices. Now, what you'll find is that both of these have physical shutters actually on the device, and this is an absolutely critical component. So for me, in a lot of cases, I'm not going to put this anywhere. I am not 100% okay with someone looking through that camera, because the physical shutter cannot be hacked. It cannot be used. Once you've closed that, it is a physical cover. So really important that it's showing up here, and one of the reasons, again, we'll see a revamp over here on this device. Now, the other thing that's really different is really big difference, is that this is a 5 megapixel camera over here, and both of these have 1 megapixel camera. So your video calling and your ability to take photographs is not very good over here. It is better here, but I think overall the whole system you're not going to use for taking photographs. It's not like you can move these around your home. And the other thing is the voice and video calls, it's okay. In a lot of cases you're limited more by the bandwidth you have on your Wi-Fi system than you are the cameras. So those are the major differences between these three devices. Everything else pretty much functions exactly the same. Now, if there's something you are specifically wondering, leave that down in the comments below. We respond to every comment that we can get to, and in most cases, that's every comment in the day it was left. So I'd be happy to let you know what I know about these three devices if you have a specific question. All of the other functions, Amazon's voice assistant, routines, timers, reminders, alarms, notes, lists, all of those things are exactly the same, and they're all set up the exact same way, and the devices are the same. But where you do start to have differences is in your home. You'll want them in different places. So let's talk about where I'm going to put one of these devices in my smart home. The first place that I'm going to talk about is the bedroom. And if you're going to put a smart speaker or a smart display in your bedroom, then I think you really have to maintain the privacy that comes with these physical shutters that come on these two devices. So this is eliminated for me right away. Now, the difference between these two, actually, if you look at the clock difference between these two devices, this is maintaining up in the top left of this device. It's just that little clock face right there. This one actually shows a full clock, and it is intended to be a smart alarm clock in a lot of its design choices. It's not going to be an overpowering speaker. It will wake you up very softly, very gently, and it has a great clock and the ability to dim at night, and it does all the right things within the bedroom space. So for me, if I'm picking one of these, I might choose this if I want the bigger speaker, but in general, I'm choosing using this because it is kind of tuned towards that bedroom experience. If we move into the bathroom, which is usually right off the bedroom space, I'm going to tell you don't put any of these there. They all have this cloth fabric on the back, and honestly, it's just not the right environment for that or your microphone. So you're going to fill that up with stuff you don't want to think about within all of these devices. But if you had to put one in there, then again, I'm going back to this because you won't feel the financial hit as hard. I would actually recommend that what you do is you go and you get an Amazon Echo Flex instead if you're looking at Amazon's voice assistant. Heading into a home office or a study, I think this becomes two separate discussions. If you're using a lot of video calling, then I think you're heading here. But overall, this is going to do enough for most people. I don't think you need the real clarity in most video calling, as I've talked about earlier. And I also think that the speaker size and the overall size is just the right size for most home offices. They're not huge rooms, and sometimes this could be an overpowering display sitting in that situation. As we head into the kitchen, you're definitely going to want to spend a little bit more here and go with the bigger displays. One of these two definitely. I would again recommend that you get it off the ground in lots of cases there. Number one, it's going to sound better, and number two, it's just going to be off the ground so you can kind of clean around it, and it could get very dirty otherwise. But both of these screen sizes and speaker sizes are the right size for that space, and it's really just coming down to your overall counter space that you have, whether or not you go with this or this. Now, overall, this is plenty for most kitchens that I've been in, and I don't think you need to go spend that extra $100 here. Moving into the living room, I think this is really going to depend on what you plan to use the device for. Now, Echo Show devices can all be paired with a Fire TV 4K or a Fire TV Cube to create up to a 2.1 home theater system. And if you're doing that, then I think you definitely have to be on this side of the game where you're using one of these two devices. Otherwise, you know, in general, I'll tell you that upgrade on this speaker might be worth it to you just to have that extra level of loudness, that extra level of capability with the Echo Show 2nd generation. Now, if you're just going to use it to play content, I really, again, recommend that you head over here. And that's because the 2 inches here I think will be really important in most living rooms. It's not important everywhere, but it is important in this case because you will be overpowered by other devices, other noise, and other screens in those kinds of situations. In the gym, I'm going right back to the Amazon Echo Show 2nd generation. This is such a powerful device, and I love the Bluetooth connectivity option. Now, you have that on all 3 of these, so you can, again, downgrade, but I love the overall power. It works with the noisy gym environment. If you have a home gym, you can really do a lot with that speaker there, and it is exactly how I use this device in my own smart home. Of course, if you have a situation that isn't covered today, go ahead and leave that down below. Now, if you'd like further reviews from us at Automate Your Life, if you enjoyed this, you learned a lot, then number one, make sure you join Automate Your Life by hitting that subscribe button on screen. Otherwise, guys, go watch some more of our smart home reviews. We do really detailed stuff. Thanks for watching, and of course, don't hate, automate.